Okay, so it's getting more interesting actually. Uh, the next one is pretty similar to the call magic method. It's called callStatic. You may have heard it. Again, if you are working with frameworks like Laravel, this episode is very useful to you because underneath Laravel is using facade, and the facade is based upon the callStatic itself. So just to create a dummy example first, we can have the class sum and public. This time is static function call static. The rest is pretty much the same as before. So we have name and we have arguments, and this time I can call it statically. So let's say method, right? And put something in here. And if I go back and call static and php index.php, as you can see, I get what I got before. The method name is method. Let's put it like this. The method name is put and the argument is something. So this is easy. So far so good, right? Let's get into more practical example. And honestly, there are two ways to implement this callStatic method. One way is not so much good. The other way is best practice and is being used in facade in Laravel actually. So if you pay attention in this episode, you're gonna get a very good understanding on what's going on underneath of facade design pattern in Laravel and many other frameworks for that matter. So the index1.php, let's say we have an auth class as we do in the Laravel. So we can simply say public static function and attempt. The purpose is pretty straightforward. We are attempting to log in or yeah, just log in, not sign up. Log in the user. So I'm going to put attempt in here, but you know better than me that the attempt is going to check for the database and I don't know, return yes or no if that user is either existed in the database or not. So we are just putting the attempt var dump, to put it simply. And outside of this, I can say auth attempt, let's say sample@gmail.com, the password is password. Of course, don't do this in real world. If I run, I get the attempt, right? Or if you rather, I can get the username and password instead, right? I get the username and I get the password. You may think that this is the best practice, right? I call the attempt and I define it as a static, and I get the attempt functionality. Easy. But this is not the case actually. In OOP, using static functions, static methods, is frowned upon, and you are just using this if it's either under the facade design pattern or to utilize some core functionalities, some small utilities. So if the auth class is full of a static function, the testing will be cumbersome, so that's problematic, and other things will come up. So this is not the best practice. Let's get into the next example and we will make this a little bit better. So what can we do? Okay, so we have a class named auth service, right? And in the auth service we have public function attempt as before, with the username and the password, and we are var dumping attempt or username password, doesn't matter. But as for the next class, we have the class auth as we had before, and we have something called public static function service. What happens here is we return the auth service itself, auth service. Okay, so what's going on until now? If I say auth attempt sample@gmail.com and the password, what do I get? Let's see it part by part. So okay, it says that call to undefined method attempt, right? So I don't have it right now. But what happens if I say public static function call static, and I get the name of the method and arguments, right? And here I say return self service with the name of the method. Instead of attempt, I put name of the method and of course arguments. If I put this, I get the attempt, right? Problem solved. So what is the difference? The difference is that we are not calling attempt directly, but through the service which is actually under the auth service of ours. But Laravel does not use the facade like this. Laravel use facade some way like this. We have a class named facade, right? And inside of here we cut this out and paste this in, and instead of self we surely should put static, and here I extend the facade. If I run this, I should get the same exact result, and I do get the same exact results. So what's going on? I am going to explain it one more time. So we have an auth service. The auth service duty is to attempt to log in the service. We have a class auth that internally calling the auth service as static, but we are not going to attempt with auth unless we extend the facade, which is going to call static our method for us, right? So the service is in auth service, but we don't know the name of that method. By calling the call static, we can get the method and we can put the arguments as we did in here and get the same results. So maybe logged in. Okay, so I hope this was not so complicated, but you can review the call magic method in last or in previous episode, I guess. in this series, and you can also search through and research and R&D about facade in Laravel. You get into the call static many times. I hope you enjoyed it.